Hey everybody, it's Mark again, and I'm working on this antique American Cuckoo Clock Company, one day cuckoo clock. I got the movement back together. I will say that after posting this on YouTube, one of the comments was, if you add oleic acid to your cleaning solution, it will brighten up the copper plates, or Murphy's oil soap. The VHS tape that I bought in 1999 recipe calls for oleic acid. You can't really find oleic acid too easily anymore, and so I did have some Murphy's soap, and I added that to my cleaning solution, and it did brighten up the movement quite a bit. I don't have all the movement back together, and that's because I want to point out a few things. When you put this movement back together, this lever right here is for the count wheel. This lever right here goes into a cam whenever it's done cuckooing, and then the third wheel warning pin, which is right here, will come all the way over here and hit the tab that's on this lever right here. So let me trip it so you can see what I'm talking about. There, the lever is coming out of the cam. The third wheel warning lever is bypassing all this because it's in its mode, and then when that lever goes back into the tab on the cam, you can see the third wheel warning pin, which is right there. Let me get my pointer, which is right here, will hit the tab, which it does. It's hitting, there's the third wheel warning pin, and it's hitting the tab on this lever. It has to hit the outside of the tab and not the other side, because that is the way the wheel activates. And as you can see, the cuckoo, if there was a cuckoo bird on there, it's not bouncing. Also, when you put these levers together, this is a low note lever, and this is a high note lever, and of course the gong. The gong sounds first, and then the high note lever, and then the low note lever. You might have to bend the posts that come off these levers to get the that action. If the low note lever stays up in the air like this, the next time it would cuckoo, the no note lever would go off first, and then the gong, and then the high note lever. And it doesn't matter whether you have a clock with a count wheel like this, or a modern day clock with a rack and snail, and the rack and snail has got the 8-point star wheel right here. You have to adjust the 8-point star wheel so the low note lever goes down when it's done cuckooing. Now I'm going to put the count wheel on, and when you put the count wheel on, you want the tab, it doesn't matter where you put the count wheel, but you want that tab to go as far left in that slot as you can. And I'm going to explain that as soon as I get this screw in, why you want to do that. Let me put on my eyes, standby. Okay, as I said, you want this lever here to go, it doesn't matter which slot you pick, to the far left of any one of these tabs. And the reason why, when you get over here to the 12 o'clock position, if you don't have it positioned right, it's not going to function properly on the 12. This is 12, 11, 10, 9. So we'll go ahead and trip it and watch the gong. 1, that's a half hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This should be 10:30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11:30. And this is 12. This is going to be 12:30, 1, and 1:30, I believe. 12:30, 1, 1:30, next is 2. 1, 2. 2:30. 1, 2, 3. And also, I've already talked about, whether in another video, if your cuckoo is bouncing in and out of the door, it's got to do with these two levers right here. They have to be positioned just right. But also, let me get back. You see how this lever here has just above this count wheel. There's no space in it. If I was to bend this to where there is space, then the cuckoo is going to bounce in and out of the door. So if you adjusted these levers and your cuckoo is still bouncing in and out of the door, it's probably because there's space between the count wheel and this lever right here. So you have to bend it down so it's just resting on the count wheel. And you also want to put some pressure when you're doing this, because if it's not set right, it's going to bounce past one of these times. So you want to put some pressure like it did just there. So I'm going to have to mark this and go all the way back around to see if it bounces there again. If it does, I'm going to have to figure out why it's bouncing it. It might be the fact that I don't quite have this all the way to the left, or it might be just a fluke that it did that, or it might be something else. And that's why you want to put a little bit of pressure when you're doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this wheel a little bit, and that way I'm going to go ahead and run it back around to see if it bounces. Or my finger might have been touching this. See, it bounced again. And so it bounced again. So I'm thinking that the count wheel, it bounced again, I believe. It bounced again. I'm thinking that the lever is not bent right, and so I'm going to have to fix that. I think that the count wheel needs to come over, or this lever needs to be bent some, because it bounced when I put pressure on it. And if you don't manually do this and put pressure on it, when you put it all back together, you're going to have to take it all back apart, because it's going to be skipping hours when it cuckoos. So that's why you want to do a function test like this. See, last time it bounced right here, and it didn't bounce that time. It might have been, it bounced that time. So I'm thinking the lever needs to be bent a little bit. So I'm going to determine what is wrong and go from there. You also want to make sure that your spring is tightened up so you get this action here. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out what is wrong, what is causing that to bounce, and I will get back with you. It took me a whole minute to diagnose it. What was wrong was this lever is supposed to be at a 90-degree it's supposed to be, how can I explain this? It's supposed to be straight up and down with this slot, and it was twisted to the left, which is causing it to bounce. As you can see, it's not bouncing anymore. So next thing I need to do is put on the minute wheel with pinion and the minute post, an hour post. This post right here, it's got the 2 tabs on it to trip the cuckoo. This post lifts this lever right here, which in turn pushes down on this rod to make the cuckoo come out, and lifts this lever out of the slots. So you want to look at that to make sure that it is lifting the lever out of the slot. And if it's not, then you have to make some adjustments. I'm going to put some pressure on it while I turn it. to see if it's going to activate the cuckoo. And trying to do that on camera. And it does activate the cuckoo. So it's adjusted just right. Then a minute wheel with minute pinion goes on. But you have to have that compression washer that goes on first. This is a compression washer. It goes on first, and it is squared so it only goes on a certain way. I'm going to put it on this way because if I put it on this way, it might interfere with this lever here. So I'm going to put it on this way so it doesn't interfere. This goes down, and then this wheel goes on, and then a washer goes on, and then a cotter, a tapered pin goes in that hole. But you could see that hole without me putting any pressure on it. So I'm going to rotate these hands. I'm actually going to put a minute hand on, even though this minute hand is damaged. I'm going to put this minute hand on and see if it drops. You see how it's dropping? That's because that tapered washer that's underneath this minute wheel with minute pinion is too loose. So I'm going to have to adjust it, put some pressure on it to make it tighter. That way that wheel doesn't drop. And so now I got the washer on, and you don't see the hole. So when I put this wheel back on and then put this washer on, this washer is what prevents this hour wheel from coming off. Now I put some pressure on it, and then I'll be able to put the tapered pin in. So stand by and let me do that. When I say put some pressure, I'm going to put some pressure on this minute wheel with minute pinion so I could see the hole. See, now you can see the hole. Well, hopefully, if I get the camera to adjust in the pinion here. So stand by and let me put that tapered pin in.